Alright, so we're here with Speiger again today. Finally back to coding.
Yay! Hello.
And we're going to work on this today. The bear bench.
Yeah, we're starting with the basics.
Which we have in a separate tab from bear core, because we're going to leave bear core as its own. Hold on.
Well, technically we're not going to work on the block itself. We're working on everything except the block. Because the block is actually the last thing.
Well, you already did the block. The block's done.
Technically, no.
No?
There's a lot missing. Yeah, there's a lot missing.
Well. Alright,
Should I
what's
list
this
it?
to do right here? You must have had me put this in here, but I don't know what the hell it is. Why does he say he don't see the stream? Ah, no, okay.
It's the stream. It's just a little bit. The to-do thing is the auto-generated constructor. It's basically every time you create something, Eclipse is adding this because it's new, so you know it's new added. So
Okay.
you know what's new and what's already processed by you. But we're going to work in a different area. First, I think we should move bear core into its own folder and no longer into the example folder, because right now it's an example mod. Everything is like com example mod or example mod, and then your stuff is in it. We should make its own folder and move everything or move bear core into there.
Okay, so where should I put it?
Java is the start folder. Everything you code has to be in the Java folder. So if you want to create a new folder, put it into the Java folder. On the navigator, you can right-click on Java and then say new and the other options.
And I just want folder.
Yeah.
Not project or anything like that.
No, you want just new folder.
Okay.
If you type in / after a name and type in the name after that, you create a new folder underneath that. So you can create folders and folders in one go.
Okay, so folder name bear core. Got it.
Bear core. Bear's mods, I would call it Bear's mods.
Now he wants me to rename it. See how it is?
You want to have it like Buildcraft. You don't make the folder Buildcraft core and then you put everything in there. You want to have Buildcraft, then core, and then like blocks, for example.
Okay, so I'm moving both of these into that folder.
Yeah.
Now, does that mean I can delete the examples?
Yeah, you can delete the examples.
Okay.
After you moved everything. You should have a lot of errors now.
I have one at the very beginning that says package.
Yeah. Basically, you moved your classes, but the classes didn't notice it yet. Or you didn't tell your classes that you moved them.
So now it's supposed to be just move bear core Java to package.
No, just rename it. There's an option where you can say rename it.
It says remove package or move. That's it. When I click on the error.
No, if you hover about over the com example mod or example mod, there should be something different listed. The bottom one, the remove. It replaces basically the.
Okay, now it's completely gone.
Yeah.
Okay. So do I need that up there?
Let me catch up, please, for a second. I need to know what you did and what not.
Let's see. Is there a reason to use folders over packages? Folders equals packages. It's just a different way of viewing it.
Oh, interesting.
Hmm?
Save, please. Control S. I want to see what happens.
Okay. Now it's pissed.
Yeah, I guess.
Change package declaration to default package.
No, you don't do that. Basically, you are not allowed to have special symbols in the folder's name, and spaces are included. So, type it together, all together in one line. The Bears mods folder.
Is the apostrophe allowed?
I doubt it. Even I think empty spaces are not allowed. I think.
Okay, I did that. Add package declaration bears mods.
1 second.
Edit. Stop arguing with me. It's arguing with me. Does not match. What the fuck did...
It does not match. Basically, say that it should match.
Now it says it does not match.
Basically, you need to save after you said add bear course.
Okay, I save now, and now it's done bitching.
Yeah, basically, the error is existent as long as until you save it. Basically, because this is like a really hard change, and it can't like say, okay, it's no longer broken until you saved.
Alright, so I'm going to now copy this, go to the Bears bench.
Yeah, you don't need to copy it, you just need to hover over the arrow and say make it the bear core thing.
Okay. I did it my way and just copied and pasted it.
If you hover over it, it should have said like change to declare to thing.
Oh.
So that would be really easy. Also, Control C and Control V work in here.
I'm a mouse person, not a keyboard person.
Yeah, now I want you to create a new folder inside of the... No, never mind, for not now. We make that later until when you're a little bit more experienced. I want you to create a new class in Bears mods. And we call that class Basic Inventory. I think. Yeah, Basic Inventory.
New class?
Right click on the folder and then new class.
Okay. New class. Source folder, Java, package, Bears mods. Encoding type.
1 second. Bears mods. I need to be sync with you. You call that basic inventory, the name. And we are going to add an interface.
Okay.
That's called iInventory.
So now, does this need to be public?
Yeah, it needs to be public. The name needs to be basic inventory.
Superclass?
Stay how it is.
Okay. Interfaces.
And you click on the add button. Then a new window should open. And then you type in iInventory. It's not case sensitive, so you can type it small, it will find it. It should be in the net Minecraft inventory area.
iInventory. Got it.
Yeah. By the way, spaces are not allowed inside of class names. Yeah, everything has to be together because, well, it doesn't like it.
Okay. This package name is discouraged. By convention, package name usually start with a lowercase letter. It is a lowercase letter.
Let's wait. No, the package, it means with the package the folder name.
So they're talking about this one?
Yeah.
Bears mods? Well,
yeah, it's calling about the Bears mods. Don't rename it yet. Oh. We fix that later, because you need to handle all these things again. But when you do that, you should have a new class, and there should be a lot of things inside of it.
You're supposed to tell me about camel case? That's what Greg just said.
Yeah, I'm asking him about it.
Okay, so then am I done with this now?
You say finish, yeah.
Okay. Holy crap, and that put all kinds of shit in here.
Basically, that's Minecraft's implementation of an inventory.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you basically now need to do a little bit of work, because it's a lot of it. And we're going to do this manually, even so there's a faster and easier method, but I want to explain it to you so you understand what you're working with. Any functions that seem really easy explained to yourself, if you just look over it.
Okay.
If you understand one directly and know what it does, for example.
Okay, get size inventory would be how big the inventory is.
Yep.
Okay. And then we have item stack, get stack in slot. That would be the maximum amount that's in that stack. Or
no,
allowed in that stack.
Get maximum.
Get stack in slot is what it says.
No, get stack in slot is basically the item that is right now in the inventory slot.
Oh.
So it's giving you an index where it's searching for, and you return basically what item is in the inventory. We do that after I explain to you everything. Next function. What do you think it is?
I don't know. Decor stack size? I'm not decorating a stack size.
No, it's decrease. Short term for decrease.
Oh, decrease stack size.
Yeah.
So is that going to decrease... Is that a function to decrease the items in the stack, or to decrease the amount of items allowed in that stack?
It's a function where you basically remove a certain amount of items outside of the inventory, turn it to the function's output. Basically, like that's how it's done. Easy method to remove just a couple items without like having to handle everything. A faster method.
Okay, get stack in slot on closing. That one I ain't got a clue. Why would you get a stack in slot on closing?
This is for dropping items out of the inventory, for example, like the workbench. This is basically it's returning the item stack that is in the inventory, and the inventory gets resetted to zero, to nothing, basically. So you get the item that's in the slot, but the inventory gets automatically deleted at that slot you're asking for. Set an inventory slot contents is, I think, self-explaining.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, a function that allows you to set an item into a certain slot. The function below that, get inventory name, is the name of the inventory. That's not really important, but it can be useful for other things. Has custom inventory name, basically says if it has a custom name or not. You usually return false. Get inventory stack size limit is basically the maximum stack size of that inventory. So if you set it to 10, every slot in the inventory has a stack size limit of 10. With a few bugs. But yeah. Is usable by player is the most important function actually, besides the other first 4 functions. This is the function that defines if the inventory can be opened or closed, or if it can be opened and if it stays open. If you return false on that, it automatically closes the inventory as soon as the container gets its update tick, because it checks, hey, are you actually allowed to have this inventory open? And if it's not the case, then it automatically closes it. The next 2 functions are completely useless. I tell you that right now, because they do nothing, and they're actually like garbage functions if you really think about it.
So mark dirty is useless?
No, the function below
oh, that's the one you just explained.
Yeah.
So is usable.
Is useful, but the open inventory and close inventory is completely useless. Mark dirty is basically the function that is called whenever someone accesses your inventory, change something in it. They call it, okay, I'm done, and now check everything that got changed or something like that. Is valid for slot is the function for outside access. For can you actually insert something into this slot? And this is more for hoppers and stuff like that. Forge has also another method for that, but how should I call that? That's a bit more refined, but we really don't need that as of right now, because I doubt you will make like something really complex that requires like base on the sides something.
No. Only used to determine if a chest should look opened or closed. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's kind of useless for me, because this is a workbench.
Especially since these functions are never called.
Really?
You have to implement that yourself. So the first thing we're going to do is usable by player. We set that to true. That's the first thing we do.
Okay, where the hell is that one?
By the way, you can remove every to-do is auto-generated method, because we're going to go through every function.
Well, let me find what you just told me to find.
It's one
is usable by player.
By player. You set that to true.
Return false or return true.
Yeah.
Okay, got that.
Inventory stack size limit. We are going to set that to 64. That's 2 functions above is usable.
Okay, got that. And you said I can delete all these to-dos?
Yeah, you can just delete them. When you triple click, you basically or click 3 times really quick on a line, then it marks the whole line, then you can just delete them really quick.
There's no delete in the right click, damn it. I gotta use the keyboard.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, you save a lot of time by manually selecting, then you have to press delete anyways.
I'm getting rid of my to-dos.
Yeah.
To-do today, to-do today. Okay, I got rid of all of them. I got a few more here. So
tell me when you're done.
What are we doing next?
Well, once you're done with every function to remove the to-dos, then I'm going to tell you what we're starting next.
Okay, done.
So first thing we're going to do is make an int that's called size, and just add other int space size, and then we put a semicolon in front of that. That is a reference point for your inventory size, since this is actually like a fake inventory what we're using.
Okay. Oh, I probably ought to spell size correctly, shouldn't I?
Well, you don't need to type. Yeah, maybe type it correctly. Also, make sure you use the tab so everything is in the same line before the int size. So the int doesn't start at the file beginning. It starts like aligned with the other things.
Oh, you picky people.
Believe me, if you get into more and more things, you will need this.
Okay, that's fixed.
Okay, now you're going to type item stack, and that's the I and underneath. Sorry. First, we're going to do a new field underneath the size. So the next line underneath size is where we're going to type, and you type in item stack, and the I and S has to be typed big.
Oh crap!
And then you're going to do corner brackets, open and closed, and call that inventory. And after the inventory, you use the semicolon again.
Like that, or the other brackets? You want these brackets, don't you?
The really corner ones, not the roundy corner ones.
Yeah, the ones with the little lines coming out of the center. I have no idea what the hell they're called. But yeah, that's what I got.
I will see that in a second.
And everything's all white.
No, you used the wrong ones. I want you to use these ones in Discord. General chat.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So not them. You want
these brackets define something as an array, which is basically like a list of things, but sorted in an array. And between item stack and inventory has to be a space. So after the corner or after these corner brackets, or how they're called, you have a space and then inventory, not directly connecting.
Okay, so there's that.
Okay, and now you are right-clicking into an empty space on the next line. You're right-clicking there, and you're going to go to source. Create constructor using fields. If you're under the source tab, it's the third last or second last.
I can't find the source.
It's
got it. Okay, what do I need in here?
Generate constructor using fields, which is the third last or second last. And you're going to select only size. The inventory is going to be not in there.
Okay.
And then you hit OK.
Okay, got that.
There should be like a line with a super. The super you can remove actually.
I got like nothing when I did that.
Was the size still selected?
Let me go back in again. Where the hell is source again? There it is. Source. Using field. Not inventory.
You got something. It's actually like, it's already there.
Oh, what the hell are you talking about super for then?
There's a public basic inventory int size, and there's like a super inside of it. Super and then round brackets.
Oh, this down here got added.
Yeah. Basically, that's faster. This is how you tools, like something like that. The super is not needed because it's you have no super class that is required. Now you're going to make a new line after the size and type in inventory equals new item stack, and then these array brackets, or how you want to call them, and type in inside of that size.
And semicolon?
Yeah.
And everything's white, so I did something wrong. Change to MBT, change to neg.
1 second. Sorry, I made a mistake. Inventory equals new item stack.
Well, maybe if I spelled it right instead of net, new. Is item stack supposed to be all one word? Or two separate?
Okay, you remove the line you made and you go please into the constructor basic inventory.
I'll put this down here.
Yeah. And you're going to basically make a new line and type in inventory equals new item stack, these array things, and inside of the array things you type in size. At the end, of course.
Inside the array goes size.
Yeah, you type in size.
Oh.
That defines basically the size of the inventory.
Okay. Still doesn't like the item stack thing.
Yeah, because
syntax error on token stack.
Let me please wait until I catch up.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I bet it wants this one. Change to item stack altogether.
Yeah. It has to look like the item stack what is made from the inventory.
Oh, well, see, that would make sense.
You have to be really precise in typing.
That's a bad thing for me to have to be.
Yeah.
Parentheses, brackets, and braces. Uh-huh.
I assume the braces are the round ones.
The arrays. Parentheses are the round ones. Brackets are the one thingies, I think. I don't know. I ain't got a clue. Okay, so I think it's right now, except it doesn't like the stack here either. So
yeah, the stack has to be removed, and the empty spaces have to be also removed before the array and after. Like
before and after.
It has to look like something like this.
I think I got
again,
it now.
Discord. Something like this.
Why don't you throw this into the new channel I just made?
Oh, coding channel, yeah. Coding corner. I put it into the coding corner again. There it is.
Okay. Which is what I got.
Yeah, that's good.
Okay.
So now we're going into the get size inventory function and return, instead of a 0, we're going to return a size, or the size field that you have.
Okay. So just size?
Basically, the size is your the size defines how big your inventory is, and the get size inventory asks how big is your inventory, and you return size for that, because it's a reference point in this case.
So at some point, am I telling this thing how big the size is?
Yeah.
Okay.
Whenever you try to inject something into an inventory, you ask first, how big is your inventory? If it returns 0, it means it's getting skipped. So we have to return how much space we have. Next thing is get stack and slot, and there we return, instead of null, we return inventory, then the brackets, and then the parameter 1, which is there really named. Before we're going to do that, rename the int and this p the underscore 70301 underscore 1, rename it into slot in the get stack and slot function.
Okay. And it doesn't like my inventory because I probably need it.
Yeah, because I skipped too far ahead. Basically, I wanted to make something easier for you, and I didn't think properly first.
Okay.
So, once you renamed the p underscore 703 to slot, inside of this array bracket, you type in slot, which is the index, basically.
Okay.
And then your thing should be fine.
Yep, now it's fine.
Good. We go through. Please go through every function that has these p parameters, and the first parameter that you see, always the first one, you rename please into slot.
Okay.
Except for the is usable for player and is item valid for slot, because we don't need that right now.
Usable for player, I don't need to change.
And is item valid for slot, we don't need to change here either.
Okay. So I got it changed for all the rest.
Yeah, you changed them to the slot.
Mm-hmm.
And decrease stack size, the second parameter that there is, you rename the second parameter to, because that's actually what it is. And for...
You cut out on what I'm supposed to change it to.
Yeah, basically. And the... Oh, I cut out?
Mm-hmm.
Decrease stack size, the function. Mm-hmm. The second field is still renamed P700 to 89. You rename that into amount, because it's the amount that you need to remove.
Okay. Yeah, you cut out for just the amount part.
Oh, okay. And set inventory slot contents, the second parameter again, you rename into stack.
Okay, hold on, I'm lost. Set inventory
slot contents.
Okay, I'm doing the second one to what?
Stack.
Stack. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Got it.
Okay. Now we're going to go to the decrease. No, not the decrease. We're going to the inventory set inventory slot contents function and type inside of the function inventory the braces, the corner one, or the braces. Then you type in slot. You exit the array, make a space, and then equals stack and semicolon at the end.
Okay, so you want slot inside the brackets.
Yeah.
And then stack outside. Is that right? Is that what you said?
I'm waiting on the stream to catch up.
Okay.
So far, I see only one error.
Yeah, you tap it over. But it's still bitching at me.
Well, it's only the formatting so far. That's something we're going to take care of at the end, once we're done with the inventory. I assume you have a lot of errors, correct?
One at the moment. But all three things in it.
Yeah.
Not liking. Here I am.
It has to look something like this.
Oh, I forgot the equals.
Yeah, and the semicolon.
Is there spaces around those equals?
Yeah, there's always a space between those.
Okay, now it don't like it. Or now it likes it.
Yeah.
Right, give me a second. Here I am where it took me like 2 months to learn how to make a working plugin that actually did something I wanted it to do. Sadly, I hit a stale point after I learned reflection, so I stopped after that. And Greg, if Bear can mod, anyone can.
Everyone, yeah. Now we're going to the function get stack and slot on closing. And you're typing in item stack.
Okay, slow down, let me find it first.
Yeah, it's the function directly above it. You make a new line before return.
Before return. Okay.
Yeah, you need a line between the function name and return.
Okay, got that.
Then you type in item stack, how it should be typed.
And
name it, for example, holder. And then you do a space and then equals.
Name it. That means put it in the bracket things in an array.
No. Naming it means like space and give it a name.
Oh. And name it what?
Holder, for example, because it's a holder. I explained that. Well, it's basically it's something that holds something for you until you're done with something else. Because we can't do this what we're doing in one go. Okay. So item stack space holder space equals, and then we're going to use basically inventory and then the slot, basically the same that has item stack get stack and slot. With a semicolon at the end. The result should look like this right now.
Object holder equals inventory. Oh, wait a minute. I'm missing the array thing. Slot. Yeah. Okay. Got it.
Okay. Now we're going to make a new line after the holder line. And we're going to type in inventory slot. It's the slot inside of the bracket. Equals null. And then I'll wait until you're done with that.
Okay, got that.
Any errors?
No.
Okay, then you return holder.
Then I return holder?
Yeah. You have a field inside of the function that's called the item stack.
Okay, got that.
So basically what this function does, to explain it to you easily, you create an object that you hold temporary. Basically, you hold the slot that or the item that is in the current slot that you want to return later, and you hold it until you're done with the other process that you want to do. Then you're deleting the inventory contents of that slot actually, and return what you hold right now. So this is basically a process where you can change two different things. So whereas we are basically putting something into a different hand and delete it out of the first hand.
Oh, okay. So like when you pick something up out of a chest.
Yeah, for example, basically, usually when you pick up something out of a chest, you get and you are in creative, for example, and you use the middle mouse click, you get a copy out of it. But if you get it out, basically the inventory needs to give it hold to it temporary and delete it out of the slot and then give it to you. That's how it's done.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
Yeah. The decrease stack size function, that is a little bit difficult. I need to look something up because I didn't do my before math because I was lazy. Where is it? Okay, we're going to make an if check. If the round squares inventory equals slot, or inventory bracket, the braces slot is not null.
Am I supposed to be typing now?
You're going to type this in there. I need to explain to you what we're going to do.
Oh, so stop typing and listen.
Yeah.
Got ya.
So this is what we're going to add first. It's a check if the inventory slot is not null. If this... Okay, I need to start it differently because I'm going to confuse you and me at the same time. The decrease stack size function is a function that allows you to remove some items, not every item, like if you right click on an item instead of left clicking it, out of the chest. But we need to have folder objects and we need to check how big the inventory the amount is to make sure that we remove only how much it should be removed. And I need to check some functions first for that. Okay, so that's not good. So the first thing we're going to do is we're checking, is the slot actually present, or is something inside of the slot actually? That's the first if. If there's nothing present, we return null after the if. That's what we're going to do as of right now. So now it's typing time.
Okay, so I have if, and then a new line, and inventory slot. Inventory was slot in the array.
Yeah.
And then you want to know if it is empty?
No, if it's not empty.
If it's not empty. Well, how the hell do I tell it if it's not empty?
Exclamation mark equals. And then space null.
Exclamation mark equals and then no.
Yeah.
Okay. So if inventory slot does not equal null.
Yeah. And now you compare it please to something that I pasted into the coding chat.
If inventory slot... Oh. I gotta have parenthesis thingies. Hold on. I had everything right except I didn't have that. Okay. So I got that. And now everything is hunky-dory.
Let me please wait and catch up.
And yes, Shadow Bear has Facebook, but it's only for my family that I don't care to talk to. I don't even pay attention to it most of the time.
So wait a minute, that means you don't care to talk to
Okay. First, let's start about a couple of rules because we need to establish them. These get into problems if you don't know them. Whenever you create an if, you never put an equals. No, sorry, you never put a semicolon behind it. An if is basically a special argument that doesn't require a semicolon. Second, whenever you create an if, you put the pathness, I think. If I look right, the pathness goes directly after the if. That's usually a rule because you get into issues after that. And
so you're saying that I need to put that up a line?
Yeah, you need to put it up line. And whenever you create an if, you make a new line and create braces opening and closing. Each have their individual line for that. These are usually rules for that. Whenever you make an if or a for or an else if, you usually have all these three things accounting for that.
Now, why would you want it on the same line as the if, not below it?
Because the if defines, this is a statement for, how's it called? We start a check, basically. If this is true, then do something. And the new line, if you move that in a new line, you get for 2 ifs, you have 4 lines for that. If you do like 4 ifs, you have 8 lines and stuff like that. It's getting crowded, and it's also getting confused the compiler out of that compiles it into something. It gets it confused because it doesn't know what belongs where at the end. So if you put an if, you need also to put the thing directly onto the same line so it knows that. And you don't need the semicolon after that because it's a special case. So
the if function does not need the semicolon.
Yeah, then you're going to make a new line and you make the enclosing brackets, I think.
The opening and closing thingies that we always do like this.
Yeah, and make sure the opening has its line and comes after that and has its own line too.
Oh, for fuck's sake. Okay. Now the reason why I ask is because when I was doing coding for Lua in Computercraft, we always did the if and then a new line, and then we put everything that went in the if statement in its own indented area. So that's why I was just wondering why it was different here than what it was there.
Actually, it's normal that you put if, and then directly after that you put everything that you need to know for the if. Small error that I just saw because I watched the stream in the meantime. In get stack and slot closing, you have 2 returns directly after each other. The second return, the return null, can be removed because after a return the code doesn't continue unless you have an if before the return.
Okay.
I'll wait until you did delete that on the stream side. Now you have 2 lines after the if in decrease stack size. After the closing brackets, there are 2 empty lines. You can remove those 2 empty lines after the closing bracket of the if statement.
I'm going to try to do something real quick. Give me a second while you catch up. I don't know if this is going to work, but it might help a little.
Oh, that's your plan. Okay. They're going to see that, by the way.
No, they won't. It's on my other screen.
Oh, okay. Well, if it catches up.
Oh, I had to hit the thing.
Yeah.
There we go.
Full screen. I don't need it full screen. I need it just bigger screen. How can I make... Oh, with that, okay.
So now you shouldn't have to worry about catching up.
That's correct. That's much better. Now we have made the if statement for the decrease stack and slot. So we're checking if the inventory slot is not present. So now we need to make a holder variable again. for
Hold on.
a but.
Time out. Question time. I always did, again, when I was doing Lua, an if statement, you had to have a then to tell it what to do. We don't do that here?
That's unique to Lua.
Oh, okay.
So if you do an if in Java, it basically creates an then directly into its compiler. So you don't need to do that manually. To explain it to you. So when you go into the if statement, you create a holder variable again, because we need to hold the item stack that is inside of that. And please type it after the opening brackets. Basically, we're going to make a holder variable that makes stuff a little bit less confusing for you. It's easier to type.
Now, holding variable would be just holder?
Yeah, but it starts with item stack.
Oh, so the same way I did it down below. So basically this here.
Yeah, you can copy paste it. It's the same thing.
Okay.
Just
there we go.
Put it into its own line. So the opening and closing has its own line dedicated only for it.
Oh, you and this freaking bracket thing. I hate these brackets.
Yeah, we can talk about that later once you're a little bit more experienced with that.
What the hell is Greg asking? Or telling the brackets after the if X is the then statement. Oh.
That's correct. But I didn't want to confuse you. I wanted to tell you, basically. Well, Greg told it perfectly.
What we're doing with the holder thing is the then statement.
Yeah, basically anything inside of the brackets is what gets only executed if the statement is true. Else it gets skipped completely.
Oh, so we don't have to do an else in here either?
No, we don't need to.
Okay. Well, that's easier than Lua then.
Yeah, it's easier, but also sometimes harder. Now we have a holder variable, so we can check for something. We know how much we want to remove. We know how much we want to remove from that inventory, because the function provides us with an amount, because they want to remove a certain amount of things. So we need first to check if the stack actually has enough items provided to remove that amount. So the first check is the holder has the holder enough items in it to supply the amount. Yeah, that's basically the function that we're going to the if statement that we're going to make.
Okay.
So you make a new if with the braces around them. And then you're checking holder.
Mm-hmm.
We don't type after the closing braces.
Nah. I'm guessing.
Yeah, but it was a good guess. Also, holder was spelled wrong.
Well, holder spelled wrong. Oh, I forgot the D.
Yeah, you do holder dot.
Holder dot?
Yeah, after the holder you make a dot. Or full stop. And then it shows you a couple options. If you wouldn't click out of it.
Okay, now it says there's an error.
Yeah, remove the dot and re-add it, but don't move the, how's it called? The mouse.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So now we need to know how much items are inside of that. inside of the item stack, because it's an item and the amount plus data, what an item stack actually is. And there's a field called stack size.
Ah.
Just remove the dot and re-add it. It comes automatically back. So you search for stack size. You can also start typing the variable name and it will tell you. But only if it was opened.
Yeah, I'm getting there. Stack
there
size.
You have it.
There we go.
Yeah. And now we're going to check if it's bigger than the amount. Only bigger, not bigger and equal. Everything stays inside of the braces.
Mother.
If you basically one rule for you, that's really simple. If you make an if, everything stays inside of the braces. Okay. You don't type outside of the braces.
Okay, so holder dot stack size greater than
amount. If the stack size is bigger than the requested amount.
Okay.
Then you make a new line and make the brackets with the empty opening bracket, new line, closing bracket, and then you new line. Yeah, that's correct. No, yeah. Okay, sorry. This is my fault now. Whenever you make how's it called, an opening bracket and press enter, it automatically makes the closing bracket.
Oh,
I forgot that. I forgot that completely. Sorry.
No problem.
And now we're going to split the stack that we have into two different stacks. And Minecraft has a really nice helper function for that has a couple bugs, but we fixed these bugs already. And that's the function split stack, split stack. And we are going to type return in the return. Please leave the opening and closing brackets on its own things.
I knew as soon as I started typing, I was like, wait a minute, this has got to go down one.
Yeah. Okay. The function split stack is inside of the item stack class. So we're going to use the holder and then split stack. Holder dot split stack. Yeah. Now you need to delete everything that's after that.
What about this? Do I need a mount in there?
You need a mount in there,
instead of that P.
Yeah.
Goofy shit. Why is it not clicking it? Take it. And then delete.
And now you need to exchange that. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Now you please double click on split stack.
Okay.
And press F3.
Press F3. Okay, what the hell did that just do?
It moved you directly to the function and shows you directly what it's doing.
Oh.
Because I want to explain you what it does. So, split stack creates a copy of the already existing stack, but with the amount that you actually request.
So this is like when you right click on it and it takes half of it.
Yeah, this is basically the function that does the splitting automatically. So it creates a new item stack, as you can see.
Mm-hmm.
That is using the item, the designated amount that you requested, and the item damage.
Okay.
And then it's checking if it has an NBT data in the stack it is actually making the copy of. And if that is the case, it copies over the NBT data too.
Oh, okay.
Then it decreases the stack size of the stack that you split from, so that you don't create items out of nothing. That's the idea behind it.
Mm.
And then it returns basically the copy, because it made basically it gives you this amount that got split off of that existing one. That's what this function does. Now, there's a tiny downside to this function, and that's why we needed this if statement. It doesn't check if you have actually enough present for you. it would go into negative amounts if you if you request more than it actually can hold.
Quick question.
Yeah.
What is this function? Because I don't know that one.
Basically, minus minus the variable you have on the left. So it's stack size equals stack size minus the p underscore thing. It's basically a shortener because you don't need to type in stack size twice with this minus equals, because it says to the compiler, we want to reduce from the stack size parameter this amount. Instead of typing in stack size equals stack size minus the parameter that you have there.
Oh, so it's just a shortcut to keep you from having to...
The same exists for plus, divide, multiply, as long as you only want to affect a field. That's how it's working. Okay, so you can close this class.
Okay. And
you should be back. And you can remove, by the way, the 2 empty spaces after the or the 2 empty lines after the return line.
Why is it saying syntax error insert?
I'll let you figure that out.
Is that saying I need a semicolon?
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
Now you can remove every empty line until the closing bracket.
I go to all this hard work to add all these extra lines in here, and you make me get rid of them.
No, you don't need that. But you need the closing bracket.
Yeah,
braces.
That was a goof. Okay.
And now you don't make new lines because this is also one line. You type in return, and then we're going to use the function that we already made, and that's get stack and slot on closing. You just type in get stack and slot on closing. Please type it how it's spelled. You can copy and paste it.
Fucker, I'm copying this shit.
Yeah.
Keep making me type too damn much. You didn't tell me I was going to have to type all frickin' day today. Where the hell was I going? Here's where I'm going. Okay.
Bear, you're coding.
I hate typing.
Yeah, but coding is typing.
I know it, but I hate it.
But it has a lot of assistance for reducing that. You need braces, I think, opening and closing braces after that, and type in slot. Because you want to remove the item out of the slot. Oh, sorry, the round ones. Like in split stack, for example, these are also round ones. Because we're calling a function, we're not calling an array. So since the amount of the stack size is not bigger than how's it called, the amount that is requested, we're saying basically give everything that you have and delete it out of the inventory. That's basically just something that's easier to type, else we would have to do the same thing that we had in get stack and slot on closing. It's basically, we just had a shortcut. That's all it does. So the function decrease stack size is now finished. So basically, this is now done.
Okay, why is it highlighting everything?
Because you clicked on the item stack, and it's highlighting all the return options, everything that returns a value. If you click, for example, on decrease stack size, then it doesn't do that anymore.
Oh.
See? You double clicked on the stack, item stack, and it says, okay, this is the return parameter, so it's highlighting everything that would return something.
Okay.
Basically, to find on complex code where something gets returned, so you know where important cases are done. I think that's everything for this class. That's good.
Okay, another question.
Yeah.
Up here, this one is on this line.
Yeah.
These, they're down here.
Yeah. This is something that I want to actually now do a little bit of explaining for things. You can do opening braces and closing braces on the same line as on all lines of code. If you want to do after your if or how's it called? After your function names, directly after that, an opening bracing, you can do that. So you basically save one line for that. But you can also turn it directly at one line after that. So it makes no difference if it's one line after that or two symbols later. After the if is after the round one.
Well, you've got me so used to having it the other way. This is bugging me.
Yeah, okay. Then change every one that you don't want to have.
Alright, so I'll put these down here. These down here. Down here. Now your format is starting to wear off on me, damn it. I hate
That's
it.
good, actually.
I hate it, I hate it, I hate it. I don't like you anymore, just so you know. I don't like being organized, and you're making me organized.
Yeah, you could also have it made the other way, that you just changed all the if statements to the other system.
Well,
So,
I like this way.
Okay, in decrease stack size, there's one left.
Yeah.
That's all fixed.
And this one too, right?
Yeah. Now, if you go up to the class, there's one.
Okay, I think that's it.
Yeah. Now something that Greg wanted me to tell you about, and that's actually, how's it called? Where is it? Oh, Greg wanted me to tell you about the camel case, which is basically when you create something, you start with the first word to be small for functions, and the next word after that, the first letter goes to be big.
So like this right here, the basic inventory.
Yeah, but that's a class, that's not a function. For example, like get, stack, and slot. Or get size inventory.
These.
Yeah. That's how you actually should type functions.
Okay.
For classes, it's actually intended that every word that you starts big.
So
you
classes,
see your error?
I'm supposed to capitalize everything.
Only the first letters of the first word.
So then this one should be
big,
capitalized.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now it's typing new errors because your constructor is no longer matching the class name. So go to your constructor, which is the basic inventory braces open int size, braces closed. It's the first function like thing that looks like a function. That's your constructor.
Okay.
And that has to match up with your class name. Basic inventory, as you see.
Oh, here.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Now, that's one of the errors fixed. The other one is the class name does no longer match the file name. So you say rename compilation unit to basic inventory with a big one.
Okay.
And done.
Okay.
So that's one of the rules. Classes get every word gets typed big. And for function, it's only the first word that gets typed small. And then every other one gets typed big.
Okay.
That's usually a rule of thumb. Should I? Yeah, that's just tiny cleanup. You see the empty lines between fields?
The empty lines here?
Yeah. Just remove them, basically. I wonder when you see that.
What they said in chat, I've seen it.
Oh.
Is that what you're talking about? Or are you talking about the fact that this got moved?
Yeah, they also talk about something different.
Oh.
Yeah. Also, they're talking that I'm just typing and you're typing after that. I'm trying also to teach you something.
This is the way I learn, is by doing and having it explained, not by trying to read.
That's read. Also, the item stack and the int should be start at the same place.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah. So, you see there's you see the int and item stack that you have there, right?
Mm-hmm.
These are called fields. So the int size is a field, and the item stack array is a field. So whenever I refer to fields, or global fields, because these two are actually global fields, which are all seen through the entire class. And if you scroll a tiny bit down to the decrease stack size function, you see the holder object. This is a local field. So
I was going to ask you about that, because we did this holder here, and then we did the same thing here.
Yeah.
Why didn't we put this up here so it was already declared, so we didn't have to declare it inside of each one of these?
Because it's actually a special case where it's important that it's only called in that function. So if two functions are called simultaneously, they don't override each other. Also, just to save up fields and memory, because this is just data that's laying around doing nothing and doesn't get cleaned up. While if it's inside of a function, after the function is called, this gets actually cleaned up again. So it's not wasting memory. Also, local fields cannot be seen by other things. So the local field that you have, like the holder field, can't be seen actually outside of this if statement. So it's actually something that stays inside of the if. So that's that's a hierarchy that we have there. So
now, if I want to do something else, since this can't be seen outside of this if statement, I could go ahead and, like, say in here, make holder equal something completely different, and it wouldn't screw shit up because it can't be seen.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, for
not
example,
that I do that, but
yeah. For example, as you can see, the holder can't be seen outside of this if statement, but other if statements that are inside of this if statement can also see it. So basically, forwards it can be seen, but backwards it cannot be seen in terms of if statements.
Okay.
So example, if you would go to the last bracket inside of this function before the return, basically, and make a new line. The return null, I mean.
Oh, so here.
Yeah, make a new line. Type in holder, and then dot. As you can see, it doesn't show you the item stack options that it had before. So even this function can't see the holder inside, even so it's declared. It's only because it's outside of this if statement. So, so you could repeat the same names over and over if you have them inside of if statements.
Okay. Yes, Junior, shut it off. My alarm telling me it's time to stream in 15 minutes.
We're already streaming.
Yes.
So basically, this is a helper class that lets you make an inventory whenever you want.
Where'd you go? I lost you. There you are.
Okay. So basically, this is here now an inventory helper that allows you to how should I call this? Creates an inventory, allows you to create an inventory whenever you need, for example, for your workbench. So we made basically an inventory that can't be seen from the world, but how is it called? Still can be used inside of the UI. So you made basically like a hidden inventory, like the workbench has. Now we're going to create two functions. So would you scroll down to the lowest line? And then you make one line before that, because you are outside of the class.
Oh.
You need to be always inside of the class. You make a new line and call public void read from NBT.
Did you say void?
Yeah.
Okay. And then read NBT?
Read from NBT.
Oh, read from.
Never spaces inside a function name.
Oh, this is all one thing.
Yeah.
Okay. And put an A in there.
Yeah, and then you make the open and closing braces after that function name.
Okay, so like that.
Like, for example, a close inventory or open inventory, for example, like that. And then you make sure that it's all aligned.
What is its error here?
It needs opening and closing brackets.
Oh.
Like, you create a new function, so it needs all these things.
Gotcha. It needs these again.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not the array ones, the...
yeah. This one.
Yeah, and hit enter.
And then delete that one to get rid of that one. There we go.
And now we make so everything is aligned with these other functions.
Oh, you want it over here.
Yeah. Also, this is not a requirement, but it looks nicer. Make sure that there's an empty line between every function name. It looks less cluttered.
Okay. Now,
so
what about this override thing? This doesn't need to be here?
No, because we create a function that doesn't exist in the class that we implement. Override basically means you are writing something from a parent class, or no, sorry, or yeah, from a parent class, and interfaces, which could be like brothers and sisters, for example. So you know which function is actually overridden by something and which function you created on your own.
Oh, okay.
And inside of this read from NBT, these braces, not the brackets, the round ones, you type in NBT tag compound. NBT is typed all big.
Got it.
And then tag without any spaces or something.
Okay.
With the big T, please.
I was thinking it needed to be, but then I thought it looked funny having the two capital
And then you
T's.
type in compound with a big C.
Okay.
Space. And name it NBT. Everything type small.
Oh, now you want it small.
Well, the function names can be typed anything, or the parameters, the function names. Now organize imports with Control-Shift-O.
Control-Shift-O. Okay.
And yeah, this function that we just created is there for allowing you to save the inventory, because if you don't save the inventory, it doesn't get saved. So when you close the game and reopen it, it's all gone what you put in. So we need to save it manually. So the NBT compound is basically your data store, and that's what it's meant for. And we're going to now make a for loop. So a for loop is basically an iterator that iterates from every single slot of your inventory, and this is the wrong functions for that, but basically if you save to something, we're going through every single slot of the inventory and check if there's something inside of there, and if that is the case, we're going to save it inside. But before we're going to do that, we're going to type another function, because that's actually the function we're going to need. Or we're going to type first, because we're first writing the writing and then we're typing the reading. I let you type actually the reading first, but public NBT tag compound in this case, not void. Just copy it over.
Oh, the tag compound thing?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just copy it over or type it manually.
Okay.
Space, and then write to NBT.
Right. Is this all one thing?
Yeah, it's a function name.
Okay. Write to
NBT. NBT can be typed big, all.
Okay.
The write is typed small because it's a function name, not a class name.
Got it.
Well, you want to code your own mods without issues. Then you make the opening and closing brackets and you leave them empty, basically, or the round ones first.
Yep.
And then you need the opening and closing for the function, like the other one. Yeah, correct. And now we're going to see that the write to NBT returns an error because it needs a return value. So for now, you're going to write return null. So basically, the write to NBT function is the function that you write data to the storage, and then the read is where you read from the storage. The void functions don't need a return. The return would only stop, but it doesn't return something back. We're going to write inside of the write to NBT function, because first you type in the saving and then you're typing the loading, else you get confused. So let me just type it also, so we have the same function. So what we're going to create between the opening bracelet and the return null function is an NBT tag compound, an empty one. So NBT tag compound, you can copy that, correct?
Mm-hmm.
And you give it a name. Between the type and the name you have an empty space. Name it, for example, NBT in this case, because that's what we're going to use. Since it's a name, you can type it everything small, and then you type equals new NBT tag compound.
New NBT tag compound.
Mm-hmm. You see you have an error in there?
Yeah.
You know what the error is? Or do you have a guess? Yeah, that was the error, one of the errors. You need, since it's a new object that you create, you need also the braces like a function, an empty function.
Oh, I need these.
The round ones.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Since the NBT tag compound has no requirement to be created, you don't need to put something inside of the round braces, or what they're now called. I forgot that always. Whenever there's a requirement for something, it would error you if you give an empty thing. Maybe it would cause bugs when it's running, but this is now fine. And you change the return null into return NBT. So basically, we return this data storage right now empty, but make now a new line in between return NBT and the NBT other side.
Oh.
Basically, after a return, there's no code. It will automatically error. Unless you have an if, unless it's inside of an if. But usually if you would type code after a return, it would give you only errors. So now we're going to create a for loop, which is for. It is handled like an if. So you're not typing outside of the round braces or brackets braces. I get so often confused with that. You need the round braces.
Mm-hmm.
And inside of that, you type in 2 semicolons.
Okay.
Now you have 3 things. The left, before the semicolon, is your starting value when a for loop gets created. This is only called once. So whatever you create inside of there is done only once, and it's never going to be called again. Between the 2 semicolons is a validator parameter, which is basically validating if the for loop is allowed to be executed for the check, if it should continue or not, or something like that. After the second semicolon is the check, or no, it's not a check, sorry. After the second semicolon is the call, what is executed after the loop was done once. Every time the loop is called, after the second semicolon, everything in there gets executed. So we're going to type in the first area between the brace and the semicolon, int I equals 0. Between int and I needs to be a space, and type it small because it's not referring to you.
Oh.
So now we created an integer variable that allows you, that is basically your counter. And now you make a check if I is smaller than size. In between the first and the second bracelet is smaller than. Yeah. This validates that the index of your current I in this case, or index, is still inside of your inventory size, so that it never exceeds the size of your inventory. In the third, in the third area, you type I++, which is a shortcut for I equals I plus 1.
Oh, okay.
Now you need to type in the braces there in the new line that splits it like the if statement. So new line, then the round one needs to be still in the same line. You go outside of that. I should have told you we're done with the for loop itself.
Okay, so put this back, come down, and then put in my...
And hit enter.
There we go.
Okay, now we have a for loop, and the I is only visible for the inside of the for loop. And now we're going to use the holder function, the holder field again. So you can scroll up and copy that.
So we're going to do just the item.
The complete line. You copy the complete line. You copy that.
Yeah, this whole thing right here.
Yeah, this whole thing you copy and paste it over inside of the for loop.
Okay.
Now you have an error because slot is not a given variable. You exchange slot with I. So what this does as of right now, it is basically iterating through every single slot of your inventory. That's all this logic does right now. It doesn't save, it doesn't read something, it just basically loops through your entire inventory. Now we're going to make an if statement and check if the holder is actually something.
So we're putting an if inside the for.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we're checking if holder is not null. It's an if statement, no semicolon.
Oh, damn it. I'm trying to
For
remember
loops,
to put the things in there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now you need the opening.
Hold not hold. Okay.
Okay, now you need the opening and closing braces.
Mm-hmm.
This just validates that your how's it called? The current item that is checked is actually something and is not an empty. Because if you try to call a function of a null object, which we check that it is not, it would crash. So we're basically making sure that this doesn't crash. And now we're going to create a new tag, NBT tag compound called data. You can copy it and just rename it.
So I'm doing this, but changing the name to data.
Yeah, copy it first. Copy and put it inside of the holder if, then change it to name. To data. Now I need to check something. Before I make a mistake, it could be that I made actually a mistake. Or maybe I have a faster method for you. And now we're going to change, no, it's correct how it is. Now we make, after the equals, but before the new, for the data, put your cursor there. You type in holder, and write to NBT, dot write to NBT. We're calling the function write to NBT inside of the item stack. Now you remove the two thing. You remove what is selected right now.
Mm-hmm. I went too far.
Yeah. You remove and the closing one you remove too. The closing bracelet, and now you put it at the end.
Oh, I just removed this one, right?
You add You add one.
Oh, I add one.
And you add a second one because the NBT tag compound is new and it needs to be created. Now you click on write to NBT, please. Double click and press F3 again.
Okay.
As you can see, this write to NBT requires an NBT tag compound. This is basically the data storage. And what it does, it writes down the item ID that the game has for this item.
Mm-hmm.
It is writing down the stack size, the damage, and if there's an NBT tag compound there, it also writes that down as tag. And then it returns the NBT compound that we created basically back. So it's still like your thing, but you have already data inside of it.
Okay.
So the NBT compound that we have as of right now, the data one has the item inside of saved. You can close, by the way, the item stack class. So the NBT tag compound data is actually like the reference to your item. Basically, just stored into writable data. You need now a new line after the data. And now we're going to type in data dot set int or integer.
Hold on. Data.
It should autocomplete something.
Set
integer. The second one.
Got it.
So now you need to give it a name, and you call it slot. You need to have it's a string that you type in, so you need to start with the text markers. I forgot how these called. Let me just type it into Discord so you see it. There. These ones.
Oh, okay.
You need before one of that and after one of that. Basically, it's initializing a text. So you call it slot, and then you put in I inside of the second parameter.
And does it need the same thing or just I?
Just I. I is the reference point for that. Basically, we're storing inside of the item also the information in what slot it is in, basically, because else the inventory doesn't know. It would just randomize the contents after it's being loaded. So we need to put in which slot it actually was stored. Now we go.
Okay.
Now we go out of the for loop, behind the for loop actually, and create an NBT tag list. NBT type big, tag the tag type big, and list. And you call that however you want to call it.
Works for me, I guess.
Yeah. Then you make an equals and make a new NBT tag list. Basically like how the tag compound is created.
Alright, now what the hell is your problem?
First of all, the imports, but second, the new is a Mew. It's now a Pokemon.
Okay. There we go.
Compare the one with the NBT tag, the NBT tag list with NBT tag compounds. Do you see any differences?
Oh, I forgot those stupid bucket things.
Yeah. Now this time organize imports again because it has no reference point as of right now. It needs to know what class it is.
Oh, you said organize, which is the control shift. Oh.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And you can actually remove the line, the empty space between list and the for loop. The empty line. Now waiting on formatting. And now we go to the line where we had the slot inside of the data storage. Data set integer slot equals I. And we make a new line and type in a list dot the first function that you see.
Append tag.
Yeah. This is basically adding the data into the data list. So you need to type in data.
Okay.
And now we're done with the for loop.
Okay.
And now we go outside of the for loop and go one line, the empty line that you have free. You don't delete it because we need it. And we're storing now the list inside of the NBT storage. So basically, you return, or you're not returning. You say NBT set tag. You give it a name, and then list. Nope, it's small typed because it's the field, the local one. NBT dot. Else you don't. You want to call a function.
And you said set
tag.
Tag. Okay.
You give it a name, however you want to call it. Remember, you need these lines before that and after that.
Need what lines before them?
The same that you have on data set integer.
So I'm gonna need these two lines added down here below this.
No. The things around the slot. The slot. You have a text piece that's called slot. And before that and after that.
Oh, that's what you're saying, is I need these things.
Whenever you type in a name, or a text piece, whenever a string is required, you need to do these two. And then the second parameter is the list. That basically saves now the NBT tag. Or no, basically all the items that are inside of this list are now compound, and we're basically done after you did the formatting.
After I did the formatting, I thought the formatting was done.
The formatting, the aligning.
Yeah, I thought it was done.
Look at NBT set tag. It's one too low. It needs to be one push forward. Wrong direction.
You want it that direction.
Yeah.
But it's not inside that.
No, it's now one back. You're too far.
That's where I had it.
Yeah, lag. There's even a second here.
Okay.
And now we're done with the writing to the data. And I think we're going to now do the reading, and then we're done. That's enough for today, at least.
Okay.
So now you make NBT tag list. You call it then list, and equals, and then you wait. Because we're not creating something new, we're actually just reading something out.
NBT. Wait a minute. So am I doing this like I did the one down there?
Yeah. But you wait after the equals.
Okay, wait a minute. So I'm doing it just like this here.
Yeah, you can copy it, but up to the equals. So now instead of creating a new NBT tag list, we are going to extract the NBT tag list out of the NBT tag compound that is provided in the function. So we're going to use NBT dot, and then it returns you a value.
Get
NBT tag list. Yeah. Then you type in the name that it was used for saving. So these exclamation. Yeah, tag. You have to type it in how it was. Now we need to always remember how we type that in.
Okay.
And then you type in a 10.
10?
Yeah, a 10. Just 1 0. That's all you're going to do.
Why 10?
That's the type of data we want to extract and read from the list. That's a system that Minecraft has included, and but to make it simple for you, whenever you read an inventory or something like that, whenever it's an MBT tag compound, you type in 10. For everything else, you need to look it up. But for most cases, it's always a 10.
Okay.
Now we're going to make a for loop again.
Okay.
And start with int I and then equals 0. Like that. You can copy that over actually.
Okay.
Equals 0.
Oh.
Then the first semicolon. And then we're making I a smaller, not as size. We're making I as smaller as dot.
Let's see,
I is smaller
less than
list dot and tag count.
Did you say pack?
Tag count.
Oh, tag. Tag count. Got it.
Yeah. And then I++ after the next semicolon.
Okay.
Now we complete the for loop.
Mm-hmm.
And then you type an NBT tag compound data equals
or I cheat and copy it from down below.
Now we want to get the tag compound out of the. So you start with list and then dot and look which function fits best.
Get compound tag.
Yeah.
Okay, and then this is list?
Nope.
No, wait a minute, not list. This is slot, right?
Nope. You're getting something outside of the list. And you're trying to cheat right as of right now. We're looking for the entry of the list that we want to extract. Which references that?
NBT.
You're looking at the wrong function.
Oh.
What is the one thing that would fit the best?
I have no freaking clue. I'm lost at this point.
Well, we are iterating in the for loop. We have a counter that's following the index called I, and we want to get the current index outside of the list.
I.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then the semicolon at the end.
Yep.
Then you type an item stack. No. Wait. Wrong. I made a mistake. First you type in int index. Index is the name, so space between that.
Mm-hmm.
And then equals data.get integer slot.
Okay. Say that again.
Data.
Okay. My brain buzzed off a second.
Yeah. Dot
Data. Get
it
integer?
suggests you. Yeah.
Okay.
And you know what to type in?
Index equals data. Get integer. No.
You can rename index into slot, by the way. If you want.
Oh, it's fine.
So it's actually the slot that we're wanting to load. So the thing would be the name that you used for this in the right function.
In the right function would be
set integer. That, yeah, you have to type that in again.
Okay.
Okay, and then you use the semicolon. Now we're going to make an if check. If index is bigger or equal to 0, and with an and is the and symbol. No, there's a symbol that means and. You need to type it in twice.
The symbol
There's one
means
symbol.
and.
Yeah.
There it is.
That is 1 second. This symbol, you need to type in it twice after each other.
Okay.
This symbol twice means and, basically. So both things have to match. And then you say index equals index is smaller than size.
Okay.
This basically checks if the current slot that it tries to inject the item into is actually fitting into the inventory size that you provide. Because if it doesn't fit in, it would crash, because it is smaller than 0 or it is bigger than the inventory size. Now you need to complete the if statement, new line, and the opening and closing.
Oh, okay. I was sitting here losing my mind. Okay.
And then you are going to type in inventory, the current index you want to inject to. The opening and closing brackets for that.
Oh, for this needs to be like this. And then...
Not the round one, the corner ones.
Oh. So, an array?
Yeah.
Okay. So this and then index.
And then you're going to call after the closing array, you make the equals symbol, and type in item stack. How it should be typed. The I needs to be big.
Does it? I thought that was only for classes.
Yeah, item stack is a class.
Oh.
And then you're going to put a dot after that.
Copy item stack.
Nope.
Load item stack.
Yeah.
and
then you fill the data. Then you fill the source from in, which is data.
Okay.
And then the semicolon. And that's it. There's just one single thing that we need to do, and that's in the beginning of the function read from NBT. And with that, you're going to go to the class start and copy the inventory as new item stack. Copy that in the function in the constructor. Up is the first thing. The first function-like looking thing. That's your constructor. There's inventory equals new item stack. Copy that line.
Oh, this one. Okay.
Yeah. Basically, and put it into the first line of read from NBT. Make a new empty line for that and put it in. What that does is, whenever your inventory gets loaded, everything is clean. So if someone messes with your stuff, you're also going to save everything properly. So the data doesn't get, how's it called, duplicated, or something gets reloaded before it was saved or something like that. Basically, just a security method that ensures everything is how it's supposed to be. So, and that's saving done.
Okay, so Control S, save everything.
Yeah. Do you have questions?
I have a million of them, but none I can think of at the moment. Oh my god, I need to sit down with this after we get done, after I do my regular stream, and read through here and see if I can... I understand the if and the for statements, but some of the crap we did in these last two are just... I'm still not wrapping my head around what we just did.
Okay, to give you like a bar of how complex it is. This is the most complex part you have done.
I can tell because it's blowing my freaking brain.
And to give you like really big news, this is one of the easiest things in the entire modding thing.
Ugh.
Like this function, you never have to, now whenever you make a copy of something like that that's close to it, you can copy and paste it almost in and just fix the errors. So basically, this is the hardest work we had to do, really. Slots and all the other things, they are okay, but this is more the hardest logic.
Okay.
But yeah, we're done for today, and I think it's more than enough for you.
Yeah. More than enough for sure. By the way, if Ghost is still here, no, this is not going to be inside of Bearcore. This is going to be a separate mod outside of Bearcore, because Bearcore is going to be left as a server side only mod, and if I put a block inside of it, then it has to be server and client.
Yeah. So
this is going to be like Bear's Bench or some fucking name I ain't come up with yet.
That sounds actually really cool. Bear's Bench. Like something that hard workers use only.
This is for forgetful people that can't remember to grab the right shit when they get in the first damn time. Old man's bench. So yeah, this is going to be a completely separate mod, and there is all kinds of reasons to use Bearcore. To keep your lazy butt out of the damn bed, to keep you from cheating and bone mealing everything to get it instantly, and to keep them damn Endermen from stealing your yard. That's the best one that's in the whole damn thing.
Also, one thing, in 1.13, this mod will be hell.
This mod will be what?
It will be hell.
Why is that?
Guess which mob got chosen in Minecon?
I have no idea. But if it's somebody messing with your yard, it's probably...
No, it's not the other one.
They picked the frickin' Insomnia one?
The one that kills you if you didn't sleep for a long time.
For fuck's sakes, why would they pick that damn thing? I wanted the Blaze.
I think it was that one. It could be also that they picked the enchanting one. But I think they choose the flying one. I could be wrong.
The enchanting one would have been an interesting one to play with.
Let me validate.
I wanted a badder thing to fight. And the Blaze sounded like fun.
Let me just validate that. I think that it was the...
I think I had heard somebody say that that was the one that got picked too. So I think you're right.
No, that's modpack. Where is it? Where is it?
Alright, since we're done coding, while you do that, I'm gonna... Oh, wait a minute, I can't, because if I do, it's gonna disconnect us. I was gonna disconnect the call, but I don't want to be talking to you anymore. Alright, so while he looks us up, after this, I'm going to take about a 5-10 minute break, and then we'll go do the normal 10 o'clock stream that is now 10:30. So I'm already late by a half hour. I'll be late by another 5-10 minutes so I can take a drink and go to the bathroom and all that good stuff. Are you still trying to find this?
Yeah, I'm trying to read through the one where I read it. Yeah, the flying 1/1.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yay. So, yeah. Have a good time, everyone. Bye.
Later.